Hello, सारे नु प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल मैं थोड़ी अपनी Sonia West. Welcome to Khas Mulakat. Today we are talking to Parliamentary Secretary Amna Shah about faster resolutions for BC construction builders inside the new adjudication process. We're going to be doing an interview with her and talking about the different policies that are coming up and how they're going to go forward with this new plan. So please welcome Parliamentary Secretary Amna Shah. Hello, Parliamentary Secretary Shah. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sonia.
We're going to be talking about the new adjudication process for construction payment disputes and how this helps making resolving issues faster and fairer for everyone involved. So the first question, I'll start with that, is could you share the timeline for when the adjudication process will be fully operational?
Yeah, so in the coming months, our government is going to be seeking qualified candidates and individuals who can become adjudicators at the adjudication authority that we're going to set up.
Okay.
And so once we have that and once industry is ready to take on the new requirements, we are going to establish that authority. And as soon as it's set up is as soon as we can start hearing any disputes.
Okay, so timeline is kind of like, let's get this done.
Yeah, so once legislation is passed, there will be a bit of a transitionary period. And that's just to allow industry to get used to the new requirements and set everything in place on their end so that they can be ready. And so we're working very closely with industry to try and figure out what that timeline is, while at the same time ensuring that it's seamless and that it's quick.
All right. Small contractors and subcontractors often face challenges when payment disputes drag on. So how do you anticipate this new process will affect small contractors and especially those who may not have had the resources to navigate lengthy disputes?
Yeah, so this adjudication process is meant to provide a very quick and fast resolution. And the decision, of course, is also legally binding so that if there are any further disputes on the decision that is being taken to court, the decision still stands from the adjudication authority. And the nice thing is that it is a system which is not bound by other forms of cases that are bound in courts. And so the wait time will obviously be a lot shorter. And what we've heard from industry is that part of the waiting game in court cases really has a negative and costly impact on businesses, specifically small and medium-sized businesses. And so really having this authority is going to alleviate some of that pressure.
Right. You talked about cost. So cost implications. What about for cost associated with the adjudication process? How will this be managed to ensure that everyone can access it?
Absolutely. And that's an important aspect to this because when you have a business that's already constrained in their funds and in their capital, you want to ensure that there's no additional barriers for them to get the justice that they seek, which is the payment that they deserve.
Right.
And so this adjudication authority and this process is going to be self-sustaining by industry, not by government. And therefore, we're going to see no barriers for people who wish to apply for adjudication should their instance or should their case lead to them being there.
Right. Let's talk about training and resources. Introducing a new system can be confusing if the stakeholders aren't properly prepared. So what steps is the government taking to make sure contractors, subcontractors, and adjudicators are fully trained and informed about the new process?
Yeah, so we've been working with the industry closely to set up education campaigns and mechanisms through which industry can be informed about the new requirements and the changes that are upcoming. Because of course, there are details to this legislation and the legislative timelines that people need to be aware of. And so as we continue to work with them, they will also inform us as to what is the best way for us to get the message out, what is the best way for us to really inform contractors and subcontractors on the ground about their rights. And same with the owners who are making those payments. With adjudicators, as I mentioned earlier, in the coming months, we're going to be seeking out qualified individuals and candidates who are able to adjudicate these types of cases, and that work will be ongoing shortly.
How do you find these qualified candidates? Like, what are you looking for specifically?
Yeah, so I think I mean, don't quote me on this, but I think there are some specific qualifications that would be required to adjudicate cases. And I can imagine that that requires some experience in law and adjudication bodies. So these are not just individuals who, we just pick up off of any sector. These have to be qualified individuals who are allowed to adjudicate such cases by law.
I thought we'd put that out there because you don't know how many people are going to want to apply for this. Okay.
Absolutely.
Monitoring and evaluation. It's important to know how the system's effectiveness will be measured over time. So how will the government monitor the adjudication process, and are there plans for periodic reviews or adjustment based on industry and feedback?
Yeah, that's a great question. And throughout this process, one of the things that we did is we learned from other jurisdictions. We learned from places like Ontario and Alberta who have had the system in place, and we wanted to make sure that we get it right the first time. And that means understanding what are the lessons that they've learned throughout their process of building up this type of system. And so we're going to continue to do that with our collaboration with industry. Now, of course, when you set up any type of adjudication authority or any type of dispute resolution body, it's important to know what are service level standards, what are the things that we can improve to ensure that there are no barriers for people, especially when it comes to, for example, other languages, services in other languages. So that work will be ongoing once the authority is set up, and it will be built into the system so that we can collect information on an on-demand basis, and also regularly, so that we can see if we're accomplishing the right service standards and also delivering services to businesses all across BC.
Right. You mentioned other languages, and the construction industry is predominantly South Asian. So having that language piece is so important. How will you make sure that that specific culture or peoples, that demographic, will be able to understand and communicate effectively? I know a lot of us speak English, but there are some pockets where the first language is Punjabi or Urdu.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm pleased to be the Parliamentary Secretary for Anti-Racism Initiatives as well. And part of my work is to ensure that government includes services in language, for example, languages like Punjabi, Hindi, Urdu, as a standard service delivery to our province. And so when we look at government services, they have to be looked at from an anti-racism lens. And so that work is ongoing and is actually part of our anti-racism action plan that is going to be launched next year. But we currently see major improvements in service delivery in other branches. For example, the residential tenancy branch providing services in many different languages. And that work was not done overnight. But I think as a government, we have gotten quite used to ensuring that we're thinking about these things proactively and incorporating them into that process before somebody even has the need to say, hey, what about service in my language? Right. So that's our goal.
Right, wonderful. Well, thank you for the work that you're doing on anti-racism initiatives. Now, I know that you can speak Urdu, so if you can tell us a bit about what we've discussed now in the Urdu language, we would really love that. Our viewers would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sonia. So काफ़ी अरसे से हमारे जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स और सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं उनको काफ़ी परेशानी होती थी जब उनकी पेमेंट्स डिलेड हो जाती थी, और उसके ऊपर जो एडेड स्ट्रेस होता था उनके वर्कर्स के लिए, उनके फैमिलीज़ के लिए। तो हमने इंडस्ट्री से बात किया, उनका सुना है, उनकी स्ट्रेसेस का सुना है, और इसलिए हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने ये प्रॉम्प्ट पेमेंट लेजिस्लेशन इंट्रोड्यूस की है। और ये जो लेजिस्लेशन है ये टाइमलाइन सेट करेगी जिसमें इनवॉइसेस की पेमेंट होना ही होगा। तो ये कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स और सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स को सर्टेनिटी देती है, उनको पीस ऑफ माइंड देती है, उनको आराम देती है, और वर्कर्स के लिए भी स्ट्रेस रिड्यूस करती है। तो आई एम वेरी प्लीज्ड कि हम ये इस तरह का काम कर सकते हैं, स्पेशली सरी में हमारे जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स, जो सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री में, स्पेशली जो वो छोटे साइज़ के बिज़नेसेस हैं, मीडियम साइज़ के बिज़नेसेस हैं, जिनको ये लेजिस्लेशन बहुत ज़रूरी चाहिए कि वो अपनी फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी को स्टेबल कर सकें।
Very good. Thank you so much for that. Parliamentary Secretary Shah, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sonia. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for watching Khas Mulakat. We will see you again next time. Sat Shri Akal.